Austin wouldn't stop crying. Skylar Matthews paced the cramped kitchen of her Cedar Grove apartment at 2:47 a.m., bouncing her 8-month-old son against her shoulder. The empty formula container sat like a judgment on the counter. Her last $20 had gone to the electric bill yesterday. Her phone battery blinked, 5% remaining. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Her neighbor, Mrs. Johnson, had mentioned a church emergency fund, gave her a number on a torn napkin. Skylar's exhausted fingers fumbled as she typed the digits into her phone. But in her panic and sleepless haze, she hit a 7 instead of a 1. "Please help me," she typed through tears. "My baby Austin needs formula, and I don't get paid until Friday. I know this is crazy, but I'm out of options. Anything would help. God bless. Send." 43 floors above downtown Dallas, Vincent Crawford was drowning in quarterly reports when his phone buzzed. The tech billionaire glanced at his Rolex. 2:48 a.m. Who would text at this hour? He read the message twice. Vincent had built Crawford Technologies from nothing, turning code into billions. But this raw desperation in a stranger's words hit something deep he'd buried long ago. His first instinct was to ignore it, probably a scam. But something about the message felt different, real. He typed back, "Is this real?" Skylar nearly dropped her phone when it buzzed. "Yes, sir. I'm sorry to bother you. My baby is hungry, and I made a mistake texting you. Please ignore this." She started to put the phone down when another message appeared. "Don't apologize. Where are you?" Something in those 3 words made her heart race, not with fear, but with a strange hope she didn't dare trust. Cedar Grove Apartments. Building C. Unit 304. But please don't feel obligated. What's your baby's name? Austin. He's 8 months old. A long pause. Then, stay put. Help is coming. Vincent hadn't moved this fast in years. Within 30 minutes, he was driving his Bentley through empty Dallas streets with bags of formula, diapers, and groceries from an all-night pharmacy. Cedar Grove looked nothing like his Highland Park mansion. Broken streetlights, cracked sidewalks, dreams deferred written in every shadow corner. Vincent climbed 3 flights of stairs, carrying the supplies. He knocked softly on 304. Skylar opened the door expecting. She didn't know what she'd been expecting. Not this. The man standing in her hallway wore a tailored suit that probably cost more than her rent. Dark hair, tired eyes, and an expression of someone who looked as surprised to be there as she was to see him. "Are you?" she started. "Vincent," he said simply. "Is Austin okay?" Something in his voice, gentle, concerned, made her step aside. He entered her small apartment without judgment, taking in the sparse furniture, the playpen in the corner, the general air of someone trying their best with very little. Austin had finally fallen asleep in her arms. "He's beautiful," Vincent said quietly, setting the bags on her kitchen counter. "How are you managing all this alone?" "One day at a time," Skylar whispered. "I'm sorry about the text. I was trying to reach a church fund, and I must have made a mistake that brought me here," Vincent finished. Sometimes the best things come from mistakes. Over the next hour, as Skylar prepared a bottle with the formula Vincent brought, he found himself sharing things he'd never told anyone. "I lost my wife 3 years ago," he said, watching Austin grab for his finger. "Cancer. We were trying to have children when she got sick." Skylar looked up from the bottle. "I'm so sorry." Vincent's voice was quiet. "Rebecca always said I worked too much, that I was building an empire but forgetting to live in it. She was right. I thought we had time, that children could wait until after the next merger, the next product launch." He paused, remembering. "By the time I realized what mattered, she was gone, and I've been living in that empty house ever since, wondering what our children would have looked like." That's heartbreaking," Skylar said softly. "Sitting here, watching you with Austin, it reminds me of what I lost, what I never had the chance to have." Skylar studied the stranger who'd appeared in her life like an answer to prayer. "Where's Austin's father?" Vincent asked gently. "Tennessee," she said simply. "Found out I was pregnant, and decided he wasn't ready to be a dad. Moved back home to his family. Sends $50 when he remembers, which isn't often. I'm sorry. Don't be. We're better off. She smiled down at Austin. It's hard, but we have each other. But Vincent could see it wasn't enough. The bare refrigerator. The past due notices tucked behind the toaster. The exhaustion etched in every line of her face. What do you do for work? He asked. I clean offices downtown at night, Skylar said, her voice carrying quiet dignity despite her circumstances. It pays the bills, mostly, and I can usually bring Austin with me. Vincent felt something shift inside him. Here was someone working 2 jobs just to survive, while he sat in boardrooms making decisions that affected thousands, but touched no one. That must be exhausting, he said. We do what we have to do. As dawn broke over Dallas, Vincent found himself reluctant to leave. Austin had gone back to sleep, and Skylar was making coffee with the grounds Vincent had brought, the first real coffee she'd had in weeks. Why did you come? She asked suddenly. You could have just ignored the text or sent money. Vincent considered the question. Honestly, I've spent 3 years avoiding everything that reminded me of what I'd lost. But your message, it wasn't about loss. It was about love, about fighting for someone who depends on you. He gestured around the small apartment. You're living the life I always said I wanted, but never made time for. Skylar set down her coffee cup. Life has a way of giving us what we need, not always what we want. I want to help, Vincent said, but not charity opportunity. Over the following weeks, Vincent found himself returning to Cedar Grove more often than he cared to admit. He helped Skylar find better work, a day-shift receptionist job at a medical office where Austin was welcome. He quietly paid for her overdue bills, her groceries. But more than that, he found himself looking forward to Austin's smiles, to Skylar's quiet strength, to the way they made his empty penthouse feel less like a mausoleum. 3 months after that first desperate text, Vincent sat in his office staring at a legal document his attorney had prepared. Trust fund for Austin Matthews. College education, medical expenses, future security, everything a child could need. But as generous as it was, it felt like a bandage on a deeper wound. His phone buzzed. Skylar, Austin took his first steps today. He walked right to your picture on my refrigerator. Vincent smiled, then felt a familiar ache. He was becoming attached to a family that wasn't his, filling a void that belonged to someone else. That evening, he found Skylar at the park near her apartment, pushing Austin in a swing. We need to talk, he said gently. I've been thinking. Vincent began as they sat on a bench watching Austin play in sandbox. About what this is, what we're doing. Skylar's smile faded. She'd been waiting for this conversation, dreading it. I care about you both more than I should, more than is healthy for any of us. Vincent, you're 26 years old, Skylar. You have your whole life ahead of you. Austin deserves a father who's really his father, not some lonely billionaire trying to fill a hole in his heart. Tears welled in Skylar's eyes. Is that what you think this is? Isn't it? Vincent's voice was pained. I'm 48 years old. I've had my chance at family, and I lost it. But you deserve someone who can give you a real future, not someone who sees his dead wife in your strength, and has never borne children in Austin's smile. The silence stretched between them as Austin babbled happily in the sand, oblivious to the adult pain surrounding him. So, what are you saying? Skylar asked quietly. Vincent pulled out an envelope. I've set up a trust fund for Austin. College, medical expenses, everything he'll need. And there's a job offer. My company's Denver office needs a receptionist. Full benefits. Good pay, fresh start. You're sending us away. I'm giving you what you need to build a real life, without complications. Skylar took the envelope, but didn't open it. What if we don't want to go? Vincent's resolve wavered as Austin toddled over, reaching up to be held. He lifted the baby, memorizing the weight of him, the trust in those bright eyes. Sometimes, loving someone means letting them go, he said, his voice breaking slightly. 2 weeks later, Vincent stood at the window of his penthouse as a moving truck pulled away from Cedar Grove. Skylar and Austin were on their way to the airport. Denver, a new beginning. His phone buzzed. A photo from Skylar, Austin asleep on the airplane, clutching the stuffed elephant Vincent had given him. "Thank you for everything. We'll never forget you. S." Vincent set the phone down and returned to his reports. But for months afterward, every crying baby he heard made him pause. Every young mother struggling with groceries made him think of Skylar's quiet dignity. 6 months later, Vincent was in a Denver hotel for a business meeting when he saw them. Skylar was at a coffee shop across the street, laughing with a young man about her age. Austin was bigger now, sitting in a high chair between them, reaching for the man's glasses. Vincent watched as the man played peekaboo with Austin. The baby giggled, a sound Vincent could almost hear across the busy street. Skylar looked genuinely happy, in a way she'd never quite managed during their months together. The constant worry lines were gone from her face. Vincent turned away before she could see him. That evening, he texted her, "Saw you at the coffee shop today. You look happy. That's all I ever wanted for you both." Her reply came quickly. "Vincent, would you like to meet for coffee? Austin asks about you sometimes." Vincent stared at the message for a long time before typing back, "Maybe another time. Take care of each other." He deleted her number that night. 2 years after that first desperate text, Vincent Crawford still worked late into the night in his Dallas penthouse. But now, he funded a scholarship program for single mothers. He quietly paid medical bills for families in crisis. He answered every desperate message that came his way, though none ever led him to another Cedar Grove apartment at 3 in the morning. Sometimes love meant showing up. Sometimes it meant letting go. Sometimes the wrong number led to exactly the right moment, even if that moment wasn't meant to last forever. Austin would grow up secure, educated, loved. Skylar would build a family life she deserved, with someone who could give her a future, instead of just healing from a past. And Vincent would carry the memory of 8 perfect months, when he'd learned what it meant to be needed, to matter, to love someone more than himself. It wasn't the ending he'd once dreamed of, but it was enough. Sometimes it had to be enough